So lads, our way of life is under attack. Our way of life is under attack by the casuals. Our way of life is becoming under attack by the casuals. And the money spent players. And yeah, that's basically it. I'm going to call them the casuals and the whales. Our way of life is being attacked by those two people. Those two groups of people. And I fully believe that there are a group of people that are in that whale category. That are in that category of people that are just looking to sabotage. And let me explain what we are talking about again. We are talking about the Patrick Ewing versus Jarrett Culver vote. Somehow, Leitner has overtaken Doug McDermott again. But that looks unsalvageable. Like, you're not getting 0.5% on 75,000 votes in 9 hours. It's just not happening. But every time Culver pulls ahead, Ewing comes back. It is exactly 50-50 right now. We have 9 hours left. And I repeat, 9 hours left in order to get Jarrett Culver. And let me just explain why. Because I know there's a lot of people are going to be saying, oh, but like, I like Patrick Ewing. And that's fair enough. If you are a New York Knicks fan, a massive Patrick Ewing fan, and you are actually going to use Patrick Ewing, there's no, like, vote for who you want. But the thing is, think to yourself, are you actually going to use Patrick Ewing? Because if you're not actually going to use him, there are 2 cards here that are actually going to be good in game. And for new players should want a card that's going to be good in game. As well as that, if you are a person who doesn't spend money on the game, like, for example, I go to current gen, I'll use Culver. Because if you guys don't know, Culver is literally just... What is my squad? Where is my squad? Basically, Culver is just another version of Brandon Roy. He's going to be like better Brandon Roy, basically, and potentially will be able to play the point guard position. He's got the exact same dribble six, exact same everything as Brandon Roy. And like, we're grinding so long for B-Roy. Whereas... And then a lot of new players, if you guys don't know, they are, they're not good enough. Like, a lot of new players simply are not good enough to win the Spotlight Challenge because it's a Hall of Fame game, which is very unfortunate. But a lot of new players are just simply not quite good enough. So, putting a card like Culver there for new players, you've got a god tier card, you've got a top 10 2 guard in the game for free. Potentially, if he's a point guard, he's potentially like a top 5 point guard. But Ewing's a trash can. Like, Ewing is a trash can. Like, it doesn't matter what 2K do to Ewing, he's a trash can. They can put his release on very quick, he's a trash can. They can give him a handle. They're not giving him a handle. Let's just be real, they're not giving him a handle. Like, Ewing has been the, like, worst player in 2K for years. And the thing is that, like, again, there are people that are arguing, I prefer Ewing to Culver, and that is fine if that is your argument. But the difference is, you prefer Ewing to Culver, but do you prefer Ewing to D-Rob? Do you prefer Ewing to Kevin Garnett? Do you prefer Ewing, let me just have a look at our centers, to Hakeem? And that's where we have to ask the question. It's like, a lot of people are like, oh yeah, you prefer Ewing to Culver, and that's fine. But in reality, we're going to be probably getting a cheap Hakeem. You probably don't even prefer Ewing to Karl Anthony Towns. You're being like, oh yeah, you're probably going to put a Karl Anthony Towns for 20k in to your team over that Patrick Ewing card. However, it is not even, like, the Jarrett Culver player, there is no one that is even comparable, close to the same stratosphere as Jarrett Culver is going to be for cheap. There's just simply not. There is just simply not. So, there's one type of person that should vote for Ewing. If you are a massive fan of the Knicks and you are a huge fan of Patrick Ewing and you are going to use him, like, if you are going to use Patrick Ewing, and not just say you're going to use him, then go ahead. But let me explain the two groups of people that are currently voting for Ewing right now. Because it's a split. This is a war right now. This is a war. This is an actual, like, this is the social media war right now. The Ewing versus Culver debate. So on one side, you've got us. You've got people that actually play the game and play the game heavily. What we would rather have, a good card. And for me, it's just a case of, I'm gonna be completely honest here. I want whoever's come through this to be a good card, first of all. That's the most important thing. Because the better the card is that comes out of this, the more people play the mode, the more people watch the DBG channel. So that's a definite bias for me. Because in reality, I'm probably gonna use Culver. Because I'm probably gonna start up a new nobody spend squad in a couple of weeks. And I probably will make Culver build a whole team around that. So it's gonna bring a load of people into the game because no one's using a Ewing and having success. No one will ever use a Ewing and have success. Unless of course Obi Toppin wins. Obi Toppin's a different level. But there's this group of people right here, and we can't let these win. I joked about it, can't lie, sabotaging the entire thing so that no money spent players don't actually get a good card might be the move. As a My Team sweat who spends money, I want everyone to vote Ewing. No money spent people don't need a great card to guard my point guard Giannis Simmons. I just want to cheese, so vote Ewing. And there's a lot of people, I can guarantee you, to think that way. There's a lot of people. And there's a lot of people that detest the way My Team has gone right now. They detest the fact that a Dean Wade card can be good. They detest the fact that an Eddie Curry can be good. That any of these other non-big name players in 2K, like there's a Terry Dishinger. These guys are complaining non-stop that a Terry Dishinger shouldn't be able to do anything. These are the guys that want My Team to be realistic. Well, newsflash, My Team is not and it has never been and will never be a realistic game mode again. But they are the type of people that are voting for Ewing right now. I prefer Patrick Ewing to Culver, and we can't, and a load of them are saying we can't have a Jarrett Culver running around destroying everybody. It's the mentality of the old head. The mentality of the old head. They want us to go back to 2K15, where centers were post players, and none of them can shoot. They want us to go back to 2K16, when people realized running with Gold Channing Frye was the best center in the game because he was the only one that could shoot. They want us to go back to the old days, to the dark ages of centers. And we can't have that. We can't have that. We cannot have them win. We cannot have them type of people win. And then there's people that just want to sabotage all of us. Like all the content creators that are saying, you know what, this is going to be the best card of them all. There are the people that just want to sabotage us, and that's fine. That's fine. All of you Reddit people, you want to spite me? Perfectly fine. You want to gather in your people to spite against me? That is perfectly fine. But I think you underestimate the power. I think you underestimate the power of the My Team community, lads. So we need to pull this out. For our way of life. For the way of life where we find the hidden gems. For all the years of going through all of these new player updates. For going through all these new players and finding the hidden gems of the world. For finding the Ronald Murrays of the world. Like the years of where we discovered Bongo was a beast. The Hito Turkoglu years. All these years where we discovered these godly non-big name players. The Eddie Curry years. For all of that. Our way of life needs to prevail. This poll right here is threatening our way of life, lads. It is threatening our way of life. So anyway, that is the video. If you guys are a budget player, if you guys are a My Team player, if you guys care even the slightest about budget players being able to compete, vote Culver. Vote Culver. If you care even the slightest bit about this mode, vote Culver. If you want to revert back to the 2K16 days, vote Ewing. Or if you're a massive Knicks fan, you know what? Or if you're a massive Knicks, Georgetown, or Ewing fan, I cannot blame you for voting Ewing. But if you're voting Ewing to prove a point, if you're voting Ewing just to prove a point against the My Team sweats, the people and the content creators like myself, just realize all you're doing is making sure that little Timmy, who starts out the game with a new player, is getting a bum instead of one of the best cards in the game. Just know that that's exactly what you're doing. So anyway, yeah, that is pretty much it, lads. We got 9 hours, or 8 hours. We got 8 hours, lads. Let's not lose this. Let's not lose this one because, well, it's like 8. It is 9 hours. It's 8 hours 55 minutes. Let's not lose this one. Let's get ourselves a good Culver card. And if you're not gonna do it for the card, if you don't want to use Culver, do it for the kids. Do it for the kids, lads. Do it for the kids who are just taking up the game and might be struggling. But then you suddenly give them a T-Mac clone and they're out here minking on people with base 11 and breaking people down with Pro 1 off the dribble. Do it for those kids. Do it for the 13-year-olds that get on the mic when they beat you. Because you better believe when they're out here destroying you with that Dark Clover, you're going to be seeing a lot of that. Do it for the kids, lads. Do it for the kids. So anyway, that's the video. Honestly, that was just a bit of a piss take. Vote, please. I would strongly advise you to vote for Culver. Vote for whoever you want, but please take into consideration how good Culver's going to be. So anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.